We know for Wall Street investors, balance of power in the Senate is something they're watching almost as closely as who wins in the race for the White House. So let's take a look now at the Fox Power rankings as we put them together. Republicans, current control, 53-47. When we look at our projection, based on all the data we've been gathering, what we had it at is 49-48 in favor of the GOP, but with races in Maine, Montana, and North Carolina rated as complete toss-ups. In other words, really could go either way. Then we have 5 close races that are currently in our rankings leaning Republican. That's South Carolina, Iowa, Alaska, and the 2 races in Georgia. Then 3 more right now that have been leaning towards the Democrats: Arizona, Colorado, and Minnesota. Now, I tell you, Jason Lewis would like to change that lean. He's the Republican candidate running here in Minnesota against incumbent Democrat Tina Smith, and he joins us now. Thanks, sir.
Yep, Connell, good to see you.
I know, again, you'd like it to lean the other way, and maybe it will in a couple of weeks. So how's this campaign look down the stretch to you?
Well, the polls that were the closest in 2016 show us within the margin of error. 2-3 points down going into the final 2 weeks. We think there's a huge silent majority in Minnesota. I've traveled the state 40,000 miles, and out in greater Minnesota, it's Trump, Pence, Lewis country. We think that's going to show up on November 3rd for sure.
Well, let me talk about this state. It's fascinating just from a political strategy point of view. Everybody says one of these years, you know, Minnesota is going to finally flip in the presidential race. I'm sure similar on the Senate side. We were driving around here in the suburbs, and I got to tell you, we've been around the country a lot.
Right.
A lot, more so than other areas. Biden-Harris signs, Black Lives Matter signs, very visible. And to your point, maybe the Trump support, which we did find when we stopped to talk to people, or the Republican support, is a little bit more hidden.
Well, it's a dichotomy in greater Minnesota than in the metro area. But people in the metro area, some people are just plain scared. It's showing up in the polls. They're not answering straightforwardly, and it's showing up and not putting up signs. People are afraid of what happened in Minneapolis this summer, where instead of exporting Paul Bunyan, our decision, or the governor's decision, the mayor's decision to stand down for the 3rd precinct, we started exporting this riots and mayhem, and that is on the ballot too. These suburbs want public safety. They want the protection of life, liberty, and property the most, and they are ready to flip to our side.
They're
coming back, in fact. And according to our polls, they are coming back.
To be honest, I thought I would hear more of that than I did when I spoke to people.
Right.
People don't bring it up as much. I'm not sure if that doesn't bode well for you or what the case might be, but I thought I would hear more of that.
Well, they're not bringing it up. I would argue, Connell, they're not bringing it up for the same reason. They're not going to tell somebody from the media, a pollster, somebody they don't know, oh, yeah, I've had it with this, I've had it with that. And they're afraid. You have people that when you defund the police, when people aren't being prosecuted or even arrested for attacking their neighbors, that tends to intimidate a lot of people, right? And those people show up. I would argue this, that the silent majority in 2020 is much greater than 2016.
Now, let me move out of this area for a moment and talk to you about the rest of the state, because, boy, the president came very close to winning the last time around.
Votes.
And we talk about those 3 other states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, because he did win, and some people forget about how close Minnesota was. Similar demographics, but what's the key to winning statewide? Republicans don't do it very often.
We're going to outperform in greater Minnesota. We're going to hold those suburbs, and we're going to open up the Iron Range for mining, getting Democrat support. When we do that, there's a clear path to victory. And that's why they're running so scared. But they're running on a platform to undo the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, to keep mining shut down on the Iron Range, to add $4 trillion to new taxes. That is not a plan that resonates with small business or the United Steelworkers on the Iron Range. You know, I was endorsed by 2 labor unions when I was in the House of Representatives. We're getting those Democrat blue-collar votes in greater Minnesota, and that is going to be the pathway. You know, Mitt Romney did a little better in the metro area than the president did, but it was the president that came within 44,000 votes, not Mitt Romney.
Right. It's a different model. It's a different Republican Party now. So is the president... On the down ballot races, many people have done stories in the recent weeks that the president could be, with his poll numbers lagging, hurting candidates like you. What's actually happening out there?
No, I'm running with the president and glad to do it. We're joined to the hip. In for a penny, in for a pound. But this is about the forgotten man and woman in greater Minnesota that hasn't been represented. Somebody speaking for them on the Iron Range, in ag country, you name it, in the suburbs, in the small mom and pop shops, and in the resorts that were closed down by a blue state governor. We have a 70-day window in northern Minnesota, all those wonderful resorts. They were shut down by this perpetual lockdown. Joe Biden and Tina Smith, my opponent, want to perpetuate that. I want to get the economy open again.
Former Congressman Jason Lewis hopes to be future senator. I know he's a former radio talk show host, too. So you know this business. Thank you, sir, for coming on, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Running here in the state of Minnesota.